Tuesday Seventh-day Adventist, a revival of original Adventism and ancient Christianity, presents Escape for Thy Life, a program explaining prophecy. Current affairs. Theological issues. Rights and freedoms. Health issues. Natural disasters. Comparative religion. Spiritualism. Pioneer history. Creation versus evolution. Escape for Thy Life. Good day. This is Brother Medina for Tuesday Seventh-day Adventist, and please let us start with a word of prayer. Loving Father, please be with us as we enter into this presentation. Bless everyone listening as they prepare for the end and the soon coming of Jesus. These mercies we ask of you, and thank you for hearing us and blessing us. Amen. Well, today our topic is Strange Signs of the End Times. Strange Signs of the End Times. And we have committed ourselves to you to bring you up to date with regards to the events that are taking place all over the world. Events that are signs of the coming of Jesus Christ. And so, this program is to show you video footage evidence of the lateness of times and of things that are taking place all over the world. Now, first of all, let us look at Luke chapter 21, and we will read from verse 25 to verse 27. Here is what we are told. I quote, "And there shall be signs in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. men's hearts failing them for fear, and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. End of quote. This clearly shows us that signs go before the second coming of Jesus Christ. That signs are presented there for us to know how late time is, that we may prepare for the end. And for this reason, we want to show you some of those events that have been taking place all over the world as signs of the second coming of Jesus. This is the reason why, when we look at Luke chapter 21 and verse 36, here is what we are told. I quote, "Watch ye therefore, and pray always, that you may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man." You need to be accounted worthy to stand before the Son of Man, but to escape these events that are coming to pass. This is the reason why we are now going to show you some of the events of the signs of the end. Yes, my dear people, we are warned that the sea and the rivers and fountains of waters will become as the blood of a dead man under the 7 last plagues. But before these plagues take place, you see evidence of it coming. Here are the latest evidence of ponds and lakes turning into blood in these clips. What you are looking at here is an Ohio lake, a small lake in Ohio turning blood red. And this happened in February 2014. Again, we have places that are turning blood red. A lot of waters in different parts of the earth are turning blood red. And here is just one example of this small Ohio lake that turned blood red, just as prophecies tells us will happen in the future in a larger scale.
February 19th, 2014, they're calling it a mysterious phenomena in Wichita neighborhood. The water has turned blood red. I'll put the link to this below for everyone. Let's have a listen.
If a picture is worth 1,000 words, this one is worth that and then some. It's an East Wichita pond filled with water that looks like it's red. The picture has gone viral. Jim Grayway spoke to the man who took it.
This is something you've got to see to believe. We're out here recording this while the sun is still out, so you can get a good look at this. Check it out. The pond in this Wichita neighborhood has turned red. Half of it is owned by Freddie Fernandez, who says the water started turning pink in the morning and then just kept getting redder and redder all day. He has no idea what's going on.
I just don't want any zombies coming out of it. That's all I can say. It looks cool.
Fernandez posted photos on Facebook that were shared and shared.
Yes, my dear people. Other signs are like famines and drought and all these sort of things. And recently, the state of California has been suffering a terrible drought. Rain has been withheld from that state in the United States. And we want you to see how horrible this drought is. Take a look at this clip.
In California, it's a different problem we've been following and a deepening crisis for them now. It's been so dry there for so long. Officials today declared what's being called an exceptional drought in parts of the state. That's the worst kind of classification. Some communities could soon run out of water entirely. Among the hard-hit areas, Folsom, California. NBC's Miguel Almaguer is there for us tonight. And Miguel, I'm told behind you there are what normally would be boat slips and floating docks now on dry land.
Yeah, Brian, the view here is incredible. These docks should be floating in water. Instead, they're in this dusty, muddy bowl. As a matter of fact, these docks should be 100 feet over my head. Everything you see on camera right now, those stairs, the railing, all of it should be underwater. This reservoir, just one example of so many that are running on empty. In the California Sierra, where today they measured the snowpack, the news is bleak.
Probably the driest beginning that we've seen.
This is what the Sierra looked like a year ago, but this winter, what a difference. The state now in extreme drought. Fourth-generation farmer Andy DeMonagoni feels the pain.
It's actually all brown and dried up.
Without rain, he'll lose this year's wheat harvest. He sold livestock just to keep the farm, and he says what's happening here will affect Americans across the country.
I can't grow any crop.
Well, a dire situation is about to get much worse in California this week. This is typically a time of year where we rely on rain and snow to replenish the state's water supply, and we're just not going to get it. Let's compare the snowpack in the Sierra Nevada first this year versus this time a year ago. Last year, on the left, plenty of snow in the mountains. This year, not much, and that has dire implications for the state's water supply going forward, especially with this weather pattern. This is the next 10 days you're looking at here in the upper atmosphere, a big ridge of high pressure for the west coast. That means sinking air and very warm temperatures, and it means the storm track gets deflected well up into the Pacific Northwest and mostly into western Canada. So the models are showing almost no precipitation in the west all week long, especially California and Nevada. All of the models showing zero precipitation this week. That is going to come along with some very toasty temperatures.
Yes, my dear people. Now, the United Kingdom or Great Britain is a stranger to flood. Yet storm after storm pounded that country, causing horrible floods and monstrous waves from the sea as they came in onto the land and flooded the land. We want you to look at some clips that show you this. Here are some pictures of flood surge in that terrible storm that struck England. In fact, different storms struck the country, and you are seeing here pictures of the storm surge as the waters of the sea seek to break over to go on land. Truly, the sea and the waves roaring. Yes, my dear people, we want you to see in this clip the sea and the waves roaring and the waves battering the coastlines of the United Kingdom. It's very horrible to look at, but it seems as if the sea wanted to come in and inundate the land. But albeit water did come in and flooded many of those areas. Take a look at this clip.
The Met Office has warned of severe weather in the south of England and Wales, along much of the west coast, as well as in Scotland and Northern Ireland. That means strong winds and maybe more than 1.5 inches of rain. So the pumps at the Somerset levels are likely to be on again today. Most of the flood warnings this morning are in the southwest, which has already been drenched during several days of ferocious weather.
Dawlish, on the south coast of Devon. Its name derives, some say, from a Celtic word meaning devil water. And what swept in here last night brought a touch of malevolence with it. This is part of the Exeter to Cornwall train line, suspended mid-air, filleted with ease by last night's high tide, stripped of its ballast and swaying in the wind, as useless as the seawall which used to protect it. The men from Network Rail look on, pondering what to do next. A crater in the road beyond, the house beside it preparing to surrender its front porch. Last night, Devon and Cornwall bore the brunt of the surging tides and unrelenting gales. Gales in some areas of more than 90 miles an hour. This was the seafront in Torquay, and this the promenade in Penzance, where at dawn it was still thundering in. More than 40,000 people in the southwest of England have been affected by power cuts since yesterday. There have been a host of road closures across the region. And just up the coast from Penzance, the harbour of Porthleven, pummeled by a foaming sea. Watch now the ease with which it just strips this roof of its slates. The harbour's timber defences and a number of fishing boats fared little better.
High tide in Aberystwyth last night, and at times the promenade became part of the sea. Hundreds of people were advised to leave their homes. Some shopkeepers packed their things and left.
It's quite phenomenal.
We came across this Dorset holiday park, now a joyless lagoon. Now flooded or just too dangerous to occupy. The question is, how many more to come when the next storm hits?
Once again, much of Britain's coastline is taking a battering. This was Portland and Dorset this morning as the waves came crashing over the sea wall. It was a similar scene at Aberystwyth.
Also, sinkholes continue to appear all over the earth, swallowing up houses, cars, and people, and killing them. But just in February 2014, so many sinkholes appeared all over Great Britain. Here is this film showing you it.
That your car has disappeared, swallowed by a sinkhole in your driveway.
This is what happened in Buckinghamshire yesterday when a 30-foot hole opened up in front of Zoe Smith's house, taking her car with it. Luckily, no one was injured, but the local council now investigating why the sinkhole, which measures 15 foot in diameter, appeared.
And in the US, another sinkhole opened out, but this time in a museum for cars, and swallowed 8 cars. Let's look at this.
At 40 feet wide, it was lucky no one lost their lives when this sinkhole opened in Kentucky. The victims were instead 8 Corvettes, as the hole opened suddenly at the National Corvette Museum in Bowling Green. Photographs released by the museum show several of the cars crashing into the gaping hole. The concrete beneath the vehicles reportedly just gave way, but thankfully, no one was in the museum at the time.
This CCTV captures the shocking moment a sinkhole swallows 8 rare Corvettes at a car museum in Kentucky. No injuries were reported when the ground caved in at the National Corvette Museum in the city of Bowling Green in the early hours of Wednesday. It's estimated the size of the sinkhole was 12 metres wide and around 9 metres deep. The hole is in the Sky Dome area of the museum, and that section will remain closed to the public as officials investigate the incident. Bowling Green is the only place where automobile maker General Motors builds the Corvette sports car. 2 of the damaged cars, a 2009 ZR1 Blue Devil and a 1993 ZR1 Spider, were on loan to the museum from the company.
Yes, my dear people, then a strange thing happened. Pillars of light appeared in different parts of the UK, shooting from the ground up to the sky. Scientists were not able to explain what it was all about and where it came from. We want you to see this here. The pictures that you are looking at here are pictures of light that seems to be just shooting out from the ground up into the sky. All this happened in England, and these pictures were taken. This is a strange phenomenon. Nobody knows what was responsible for this. No scientist can explain what happened here. You have white pillar of light and you have different colors lights in the night, all shooting up from the ground, going up to the sky. A strange phenomenon never seen before. But we are showing you this that you would know all these are signs of the lateness of time. Something is indeed taking place. Yes, my dear people, all kind of strange things are going on. All kind of signs of the end. And what about the United States? One of the largest tornadoes in the history of the United States struck recently. And we are showing you this in this film now.
A classic, huge wedge-shaped tornado. And you can see all the debris coming around the outside of it.
Even in Tornado Alley, in tornado season, they've never seen anything like this.
There's a huge flash right there. It is just ripping up everything in its path. So
a twister, maybe 2 miles wide, and packing winds of up to 200 miles per hour, churning its way towards Oklahoma City.
The storm on the south, we got to watch that one. That's one we got to watch because that's going to be in its own little environment.
They've been given a warning, but not much of one.
So this thing really developed so quickly. Look at all that debris that you see spitting right around there. This was when it was just west of Moore by just a little bit.
Those in the expected path of the tornado were caught in the panic.
People are no doubt watching us right now as this storm bears down on the city of Wichita.
You know, JD, in 20 years, I've never said this, but I think it's our time to go. We're leaving the radar image up, but it appears that it is time for all of us to get to shelter. Get to shelter right now. Ryan Newton. Ryan Newton. Now, Ryan. Now. Everybody down below, let's go.
It hit the town of Moore hardest. 3,000 homes here. One local described it as being like a chainsaw cutting through people's lives. When it had done its worst, this was what was left. Whole neighborhoods destroyed, an area up to 30 square miles scoured by the power of the twister. The focus of the rescue effort quickly settled here, what was once Plaza Towers Elementary School, now almost completely destroyed. Even the parts that should have offered shelter, gone. Rescue workers picking through the wreckage, searching for signs of life. Too late for some.
And while this was so, the country of Portugal in Europe was visited by a strange tsunami which rushed ashore onto the people in the city. Take a look at this clip. And here is an earthquake striking a European country while a game is going on, and the people took off in panic. Yes, my dear people, why have we shown you these things? We have shown you these things just as a small sample of the large amount of events that are taking place all over the world. And these are signs of the second coming of Jesus. There are much, much more events, terrible events. We have just given you a few, and these few are very mild, just to give you evidence of the lateness of time. You need to understand the times that you're living in, and you need to prepare. This is the reason why we are told this in Matthew chapter 24 and verse 42. I quote, "Watch therefore, for you know not what hour your Lord doth cometh." Yes, my dear people, you are to watch the events, you are to watch your own morality, and you are to watch the character of Christ in the scripture of truth. When you do these things, watching by studying your Bible and learning the truths, you are actually preparing for the end, which is swiftly coming. May God bless you as you do everything in your power to prepare for the end that is swiftly coming. Now, if any one of you wants this program, all you have to do is to call us at the numbers that you see at the bottom of your screen. 625-0446, 625-0446, and another number, 755-9006, 755-9006. And our Tobago numbers are 336-8291, 336-8291, plus 307-5146. 307-5146. And what you are seeing passing before you right now on the screen are our various web addresses. All you have to do is to go into them, and you will get events that are recorded there for you to view how late time is. Pay special attention to Tuesday SDA Gospel, where you will get all the latest information. And may God bless you. May God prepare you for the end, which is swiftly coming. In Jesus' holy name, amen.